Okay, so now we're going to talk about your plexuses and talk about your spinal nerve. Only the ventral rami form these plexuses. The dorsal rami go and innervate skin and muscles of your back. So it's only the ventral rami that turn into these spinal nerves that we're really going to talk about. Okay, so the first one that we're going to talk about is the cervical plexus. We'll just start here. So you have C1 through C5. These supply the muscles of your shoulder and your neck. We're not going to get really any deeper into that. You do need to know that C3 and C4 and C5, those nerves come together and make up one large nerve called your phrenic nerve. This nerve innervates your diaphragms. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so here's that phrenic nerve innervating the diaphragm. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so you can see a little better. Got rid of the, oh goodness, the pericardium, maybe. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. So you can follow that little blue trail all the way back up, okay, and see that you can kind of trace back to where it originates, okay, in C3, C4, and C5. So you can just remember C3, C4, C5, keep the diaphragm alive. If something happens to this phrenic nerve, then your diaphragm can't contract, and so then you can't breathe. Also, a little kind of funny thing about the phrenic nerve is that when this gets irritated, you get the hiccups because it sends little spasms to your diaphragm. And so your diaphragm will contract really quickly. It'll pull air into your lungs and you'll start to hiccup because it like makes you pull air into your lungs. Well, not actually pull, go into all sorts of pressure gradients and stuff, but if you're with me for AMP2, we'll get into all that. Okay, go back and we'll look at the brachial plexus. You can actually feel or palpitate this brachial plexus. It's a really large group of nerves. You can put 2 fingers just right behind the middle of your clavicle and kind of press down. You can actually feel those nerves kind of roll around. If you press down really hard, it can actually send a nice little tingle down your arm. So we'll zoom in. Okay, so here are the nerves for that brachial plexus. Okay, and they travel down. Okay, down your arm. These arise. Oh, it's been a day. From C5 through C8 and T1. You have 3 main nerves that you'll need to know. You'll also need to know the location of these. You have your radial nerve. This innervates your posterior lateral surface of your arm and your forearm. It supplies your extensor muscles. Okay, and this is actually damaged in your axillary, your armpit region. If you have crutches that aren't sized properly, or if you put your arm over the back of a chair, like at the movie theater when you're with a date, and your arm starts to go numb, it's because you're compressing that radial nerve. But heaven forbid you move your arm because, you know, you have your arm around your date. It might have been helpful if I had it highlighted for you while I was talking all about it. Okay, so there's that radial nerve. We can actually hide this part of the triceps so you can see it a little better. Okay, so there it is. It's a fairly large nerve, and you can see how it'd be compressed if your arm was hanging over a chair. Okay, and then you have your median nerve. I have it selected right here. Oh, there we go. You can see it right back in there. So this is for opposition of your thumb and your fingers and innervates your flexor muscles. And then you have this big ulnar nerve. You will flip around, you can kind of see where it travels. Okay, so this is for your posterior medial surface of your arm and forearm. Okay, so right here next to your body, kind of on the back. It supplies your flexor carpi ulnaris. Okay, we've talked about that muscle. This nerve, the fun thing about this nerve, if you see right here, how it runs right over your elbow, it's right in a prime spot to be hit a lot. If you hit this nerve, it sends this horrible tingling sensation all down your forearm, all the way down to your pinky sometimes. This is what people call hitting your funny bone. Hey, it's not actually a bone, you actually hit your ulnar nerve. I think that's it for the nerves. So you can see that median nerve a little better in this view. Okay, how it goes down and supplies all of these flexor muscles of your forearm. Okay, now we'll go back and we're going to look at your lumbar plexus. Okay. So your lumbar plexus arises from L1 to L4. Sometimes spinal nerve from T12 is thrown in there. You have three large nerves that we'll talk about. Your femoral nerve. Okay, your femoral nerve supplies your anterior thigh muscles. This is the largest nerve of your lumbar plexus. I don't know if I like this view. Okay, so you have your femoral nerve here. Okay, it's a fairly large nerve, and you can see how it supplies the anterior thigh. Then you have your obturator nerve. This goes through the obturator foramen. We didn't talk about that when we talked about the pelvis, but it goes through that hole, that big hole in your pelvis. This supplies your gracilis muscle, which is that muscle on your inner thigh. Okay, one right here. And it supplies some of your other adductor muscles, okay, those inner thigh muscles. Then you have your lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. If I could click on it, that'd be awesome. Okay, so this innervates the skin of your lateral thigh. Okay, sorry, I gotta turn off the... Alright, there. That was kind of distracting. This is known as your pocket nerve because if you put your hand in your pants pocket, that's kind of where that nerve runs. Okay, and then your sacral plexus. I think I'll go to a different view. Okay, really the only set of nerves we're going to look at is your sciatic nerve. Your sciatic nerve is huge. It's this big, this big nerve right here. It's composed of nerves from L4 to S4. It splits into two nerves right here at the posterior knee or your popliteal region, into your tibial nerve and your common fibular nerve. Click on it. Yay. Oh, goodness. So your tibial nerve basically supplies all of your anterior surface of the leg, and then part of your foot. And then that common fibular nerve supplies the anterior, it splits, and supplies the anterior portion of your leg and the sole of your foot. If you have ever had sciatica, sciatica is terrible. It's when you have some kind of injury to your sciatic nerve, you have pain, numbness, weakness that radiates all the way down to your leg. If this is completely severed, your leg is almost useless. You can't flex your leg, okay, which is this area down here. This is the leg, this is the thigh. Your foot drops. It's a condition called foot drop, and it's aptly named. But if you have, problems with your hip, problems with your alignment, you can actually look at it from the front too. It's a huge nerve. Then this can cause problems with that sciatic nerve. Okay, so that's it for the nerves. I think that's it for all of our labs. So awesome.